Namaste. Welcome to M Talks and a very happy Independence Day to one and all. On this eve of Independence Day, I really wanted to talk about something I feel is really important. That is nationalism and patriotism. Before I get into this topic, let's define nationalism and patriotism in very simple terms. What does patriotism mean? Being a patriot or patriotism means having love towards one own country unconditionally. Let's say unconditional love towards one country. What does nationalism mean? Nationalism means representation of oneself into this country and the country's interests with respect to other countries. So, what's the difference between them? In nationalism, there is a comparison with respect to other nations, and in patriotism, there is no comparison. There is an unconditional love. Where do we need this patriotism? We need this patriotism when there is an internal conflict into our own country. And when do we need nationalism? We need nationalism when we have a problem, when our interests, our country's interests, are being questioned, are being tampered, are being opposed by some other country. So I am trying to say something like this is nationalism on present day is more important than patriotism. Yeah, I totally agree. Patriotism is very good. Being a patriot is too good. But more than that, we need a nationalism. We need to be a nationalist. Let's say it with an example. Why is it really important to be a nationalist? Let's suppose today is 74th Independence Day. Let's suppose we are going 74 years back. And we are in August 14th, 1947. On the moment before going to sleep, a person from Dhaka of present-day Bangladesh, or a person from Karachi from present-day Pakistan, or a person from Lucknow of present-day India are one and the same for us. We share the same nation. Okay? But the next day, the morning, as soon as I wake up, they are not my nation. They are not my co-citizens. I don't share a nation with them. This whole difference can be understood by a nationalist very aptly and very correctly rather than with a patriot. This is what I'm trying to say. So it is really important to be a nationalist on present day. If it is that really important, what kind of nationalist do we require? Why I'm saying what kind of nationalist? Because everybody has their own belief system. Everybody, they have their own isms they follow. Let's suppose there's a communist who follows communism. Okay, there's a person who is Hindu who follows his religion. There's a Muslim who follows Islamism. And there's somebody who says, I don't believe in these things and I believe in democratism. Whoever may be the person, what kind of person? He should be a nationalist first. Let's suppose, put it in a very simple terms, he should be a nationalist communist. He should be a nationalist democratist. He should be a nationalist Hindu. He should be a nationalist Hindu, or he should be a nationalist Muslim. But when we talk about this nationalism, there's something which is closely related and which always comes into discussion. That is this one word, which is known as fascism. I really want to make clear of where the fascism is really different from nationalism. To define in simple terms, fascism is ultra nationalistic thought with a dictatorial attitude. What does this mean, dictatorial attitude? In dictatorial attitude, there are two things which actually happens: suppression of opposition and suppression of society. The people's voice is not listened to the extent they are to be listened. Whom do you think has a fascism today? And I really wanted to make this point also. On the present day scenario, whom do we think has a fascist nature, or which nation is in a fascist nature? And I'm open and I'm very particular of saying this is China. Why is China? Because there's no opposition. After all, there is no opposition there. And there's no value for the people who live there. I am not saying this because how can you say this? But I'm not saying this that way. I really wanted to put this in a very simple example. Recently, there were some clashes in Galwan Valley. For India, To tell them how many people have died, it took less than 24 hours. For China, even today, they are not clear about how many people they were dead, how many Chinese people they were dead due to the Galwan Valley attack. So that is the state of people over there, and I feel China is the biggest fascist country which is actually on today's present day. Also, last but not the least, when I'm talking about this nationalism, there's a one word which comes above it, which people try to put above it. That is humanity. Yeah, definitely, humanity is more than nationalistic thought at any point of time. But friends, let's be very practical and let's be very on a ground terms. On today's scenario, nationalism is about humanity, and people are that way. Yes, definitely, I would agree. I would agree, and I really want that humanity is always about nationalism. But that is not the case scenario as on today. The today's case scenario is nationalistic thought of every other country, every other nation is higher than humanity. Let's suppose just close it off with a simple example. There's a famine here. There's a famine here. We don't have food to eat, and there's a lot of food which is being produced in European countries or Pakistan, let's say, or Malaysia, some country. Unless until the other country agrees and we agree, even though we are in famine or even though we don't have any food to have, we are not allowed to get there to here. But suppose a southern region of India is in famine and a northern region is very prosperous. Okay, they have their own food, they are cultivating food very much. There is no person's intervention that you can get their food to here. So friends, we have to understand that nationalistic thought is always higher than humanity on the present day scenario. I just wanted to make this point on today's date. Yes, I wish humanity wins, but I also wish every person on this Independence Day Eve will be nationalistic enough to protect our country's interest and protect our country's people. Thank you.